Coming to you live from the studios of 100.9 FM WCHQ and WCHQFM.com. This is In the Studio with your host, Gavin Castor. And good evening, everybody, and welcome to In the Studio. I'm Gavin Castor, your host. We survived Poor Castle. Yay! That was amazing. An amazing 3 days. And shout out to all 30 bands who played and to everyone who worked there and survived the heat. And this week is getting us a great start here. We have Comforter in the studio. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
How's it going? Doing great. You sounded great during the sound check. Colin's got everything mixed in perfectly. So why don't you start us off with one of your tunes, and then we'll get into the interviews.
sand sheets, shivering softly, windless swiftly around. In the dead of night, in the dead of night, in the dead of night, and all night down, down. We saw right through them. They saw right through us. We saw right through them. They saw right through us.
100.9 WCHQ Louisville, Comforter performing live in the studio. Wow. All I can say is just wow, man. Beautiful stuff.
Thank you.
Comforter is Adam Duffy, who is in the right channel with a beautiful purple Fender Mustang and a barrage of pedals. And those are really cool pedal boards. And in the center, in case you're watching Facebook Live, Adam's also right frame. And then center frame, we have Luke Stevens on bass and vocals. And left frame, Mike Stewart on guitar. And he only has one suitcase full of pedals, but there's plenty of pedals in there. How you got all those in there, really don't know. And a beautiful Fender Les Paul, or Fender Gibson, genuine Gibson Les Paul. Fender Les Paul. Well, I had a friend of mine who played a Les Paul through a Fender amp, and I asked him, "Do those two ever clash?" You know.
I do that a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, last but not least, on drums, Mr. Cameron, Cousins, and lead vocals as well. And I guess we'll talk to Cameron because you were the guy that was emailing me before.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you give us a little history on how Comforter came together. We were saying before you started out as a three-piece looking for a fourth piece.
Yeah, Duffy and I, well, I guess I lived in this house that was pretty important to the Louisville music scene, I guess, at the time. It was just called the Chestnut House.
Oh, yeah.
Duffy practically lived there.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't pay rent though.
Didn't pay rent though.
That's the best kind of house to live in, right?
Yeah. And we played music together ever since high school. We've been high school friends, and
Cool.
We've always sort of shared the same interest in music, and we always knew we wanted to be in a band together. And our first band, Young Lions, broke up, and we didn't really know what we wanted to do, but we knew we wanted to play together, and we sort of got interested in, I guess you could say, shoegaze.
Oh, yeah.
A friend of ours that lived with us, and her name was Sarah Gregory. She wanted to be in a band really bad, and she actually named the band, believe it or not.
Oh, cool.
He doesn't believe it.
But we liked it so much that we kept it. She ended up moving away, so we needed to find someone to fill that role, and there wasn't anyone other than Mike Stewart who we'd wanted to play second guitar. So pretty quickly we got him, and then the search was on for a bass player. Originally we wanted a girl, and we searched and searched, and long story short, Luke worked with me at Please and Thank You. We ended up living together, and then it just kind of made the most sense.
Yeah. Sometimes the answers come.
To blindfold me and throw me in the truck and take me to your
music
studio, and
it's actually a cool story.
Threw a black pillowcase over his head, and
So for
really no joke, they blindfolded me, and put me in a truck, and drove me there, and
for
surprised
Christmas,
me. Like, hey, you want to be in a band?
For Christmas one year, he lived with Duffy and I, and we'd already decided that we kind of wanted to play bass and sing, because he was a trumpet major, and we lived together, and we knew he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, we blindfolded him, put him in the back of my truck, and drove over to where we practiced, which is where Mike lives, and
Wow.
put a bass in his hands. Unblindfolded him and was like, "All right, you're in the band. Hope you want to be."
Wow.
And that was like probably like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
so that's when we really became a band.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, I love the sound of In the Dead of Night. That's
Thank you.
really ethereal,
Yeah.
which is a big thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's big with me. I love ethereal stuff. So
Yeah. That's the first song off of our soon-to-be out EP, Where the Heart Is.
yeah. You guys have already released a single because we play it
Yeah.
regularly
Thank you.
here
Yeah, thank
on.
you.
Oh, we were glad to. It's an honor. There is so much incredible talent out there,
Yeah.
and the recordings are so well done. I mean, it has to be heard. You can't just let it sit on a shelf. And you guys are doing it right by getting those singles out first. So when you do have your release show, which is coming up July 27th at Please and Thank You on Frankfurt Avenue, we'll talk a little more about that. But yeah, so people are already familiar with it. So in case you're just tuning in, you are listening to In the Studio here on 100.9 FM WCHQ Louisville. We're also on WCHQFM.com. And check out our Facebook Live video. We are on Facebook Live right now. And if you do, be sure to put in some earbuds or listen to it through a stereo, because the audio coming through is coming right off of our board, and it sounds pretty amazing. So how about another song, Comforter, live in the studio here on WCHQ.
Suddenly I came to a salty sun-kissed stare blew upon me. No need to worry as we set to rest. This house comes crashing, crumbling down before me. A picture so serene, casting out to sea. The misty mountain peaks reign above me in all the glory. I've never seen such green. For Mother Nature swallows up the city, and finally I can breathe. Water swiftly runs down below me. These buildings seem so small now. These roads I've drove for years, although at times they seem so far familiar. I think I'll stay a while now, a while. All I know is when I'm on the road, nothing compares to the comforts of home.
100.9 WCHQ Louisville Comforter live in the studio. Great stuff, guys. Let's take a moment talk about the pedal boards. I believe it's the first time I've ever seen vintage suitcases used for pedal boards. That's ingenious. That's
Thank
great stuff.
Thank you.
And they're all pointing to Mike.
Whoa, why are they pointing at me?
Yeah,
He's the one who built them.
I don't know, maybe
you're the one who built them.
You built it.
Yeah, so I really like peddler's malls. I don't know if you know what those are.
Yes.
I went, picked me up an old suitcase,
Yeah.
ran a bunch of wires,
Yeah.
plugged it all in, and it worked. So then I threw some lights in it so I could see in the dark, which
Yeah.
isn't a problem today. Thank you.
Yeah.
And boom, now you have it.
Yeah, I first noticed the lights in Adam's cases there. That's pretty genius because you can see them, but they don't distract from, they're hidden from the crowd, from the audience.
For sure.
So that's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I saw him in a show back in the band when he was in a band called Not Quite Superheroes. And,
I didn't play guitar in that band. There were no pedal boards.
there was.
Okay, why did you? Who paid you to name drop that?
The band was awesome, and I saw his first pedal board, and I was like, dude, I gotta have one. So I had
That's
one.
awesome.
So he built one.
Again, it didn't exist then. But.
Yeah.
Oh man, thank you for speaking, Adam.
Yeah. Well, and they're handy too. You unplug them, roll the cords up,
Yeah.
and you close them, and
It's got a handle.
yeah, it's got a handle, and boom, bada bing, bada boom, ready to go. That's cool.
Thank you.
So, I gotta ask, how long did it take you to collect all these pedals? It's something you just
6 years.
6 years.
6 years, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, gotcha.
And still going. So.
Yeah, still building. Well, yeah, that's something you never get enough of because it's always about it growing and expanding and yeah, never have enough.
We have a tradition, like me and Cam, he always tries to give me some new pedal for my birthday. So the majority of these pedals are probably something that he's got.
Some birthday presents.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And you're still young. That's the beauty of it. So you got at least 30 more pedals coming your way. No pressure, Cam. Right?
Yeah.
Right. No pressure. That's cool. So let's talk to Cameron again about your roots, musical roots, how you got started. 'Cause you're playing drums and you're singing. Have you always?
Well, let me just start by saying I feel like them two sing as equally as I do.
Yeah, we're talking about
I'd say
Mike and Luke.
Yeah, I'd say there isn't a lead vocalist per se, and there isn't a lead guitar player per se.
Yeah.
They both have lead parts, and we write as a unit. We're usually right. Well, we had all these songs that were instrumental.
Yeah.
Because we just really wanted to play, and we were just getting together and writing, and we didn't really write lyrics because we didn't know who was going to sing them at the time.
Yeah.
So we have all this material just kind of sitting there, but I don't know. I mean, I grew up with rock and roll.
Yeah.
I feel like Duffy did too.
Right.
Talk about your roots. Talk about
The
Led Zeppelin.
The roots. I mean, I'm a drummer. Of course, I
Maybe,
like.
yeah.
Zeppelin.
Yeah. I mean, when did you pick up the sticks? How old were you?
It's middle school. I think.
Yeah.
It was a.
It's always a sweet spot. 13, 14.
Yeah, I moved from Florida. I'm a Navy brat, so I remember moving to Florida from Virginia, and the band director there was like, "You want to play drums or trumpet? That's what I need right now. I need either a trumpet player or a drummer." And I was like, "Drums." And that
Drums.
was like
Yeah.
life or death. Not life or death. He plays trumpet, and so
Yeah.
no shade on trumpet.
When I was in band, I wanted to play drums, and there was like 15 of them. And
Right.
he was like, "Sorry, you're not going to do it. You got to
Yeah.
play trumpet."
How ironic is that? And the two of you are in the same band together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we did the classic like playing in band, like in middle school, doing jazz. Well, I didn't do jazz actually, but like concert band. And then we did,
Oh, yeah.
when we went to high school, we did marching band. He was in marching band on the drum line. Duffy was, and like I said, just growing up on rock and roll.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the dream. Yeah.
And then
And rock and roll goes back,
Yeah.
60 years.
I mean,
so
and, we
so
got-
there's several generations that's grown up on it now.
Yeah, we got into like more '90s stuff because it's closer to, our age, and
Right.
I feel like we like Nirvana and Sonic Youth. It seems to be the bands that we like to cover when we do covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the Seattle
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oof, best band.
I love them all. I mean, that was one of my favorites. You know, I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and the late 60s, early 70s was a wonderful time because studio executives, they were all in their 50s and 60s. Frank Zappa explained that. They're like, I don't know what this is. Let's just record it and put it out there and see if it sells. So the recording went from what was the Wrecking Crew days, where they had studio musicians come in and they record something, and it was all written down and mapped out, to you had bands like Chicago who would come in and play live, and they would just turn everything on and just let's see what happens. And so you had, if anybody knows the first album, the last track, Liberation, is a 15-minute guitar solo. You know, it was a double album set. And there was another song called Poem 58, which is about a 8-minute guitar solo. You know, it was something new, experimental, and I just love those times where you just let it go. You know, and all those albums from Zappa and Hendrix and all of them back then, it was new and experimental. And then, of course, in the 80s, everything turned to keyboards. That was experimental, but it for me, it was too synthetic. And then when 91 hit, and Tool and Pearl Jam, and especially the women who came out, Juliana Hatfield, Liz Phair, that's my second favorite era of music. I mean, and anyway, I'm talking too much.
No, we wanted to hear about you.
You're fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that it's been, you know, and it was ironic because I'm originally a keyboard player, but there was just too many keyboards. It just didn't sound organic anymore. You know, it was manufactured music, and that's what what we have now. Even though you have guitars and you have everything else, the processing is so much. It's like, you know, instead of a home-baked loaf of bread, you've got a packaged loaf of bread with all these ingredients, and it's just mixed and processed way too much. And I guess that's why I love this station, not because I got a show here, but the music is organic. You know, the recording is excellent quality recording, excellent songwriting, you know, you guys included. And it's more organic, and it's something people can relate to a lot more. And I'm going to shut up for now. So you guys can play another song. I'm sure the comments, thanks to all the people who are watching the Facebook video, Andrew, Courtney, Ben, Hannah, all of them. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Courtney.
In case you're just tuning in, this is In the Studio here on 100.9 WCHQ Louisville. I'm Gavin Castor, your host. Our guest tonight, Comforter. They are celebrating their CD release show. We're going to get into that after this tune.
Gotta change the delay time.
100.9 WCHQ Louisville. Comforter performing live in the studio with us. And I don't know, I get giggly because I listen to this incredible mix. And I've said it before, I used to listen to the live shows in the past, and I swear I'm listening to the CD, and then they say, no, this is performing live in the studio. Colin Trask over there does such an amazing job of getting everybody sounding so good. So thank you, Colin, for that. And we have another visitor. Just walked in, Mr. Lou Tingle, photographer extraordinaire. Thanks for coming in, Lou. And so we were talking before about all the pedals you got in there. Let's talk about your CD release event. Of course, I like to call it album because...
We do too.
Yeah.
We hate CDs.
Yeah. Well, because you download an album of songs now. You know, we've gone from they were always called albums.
Mm-hmm.
They were either albums or LPs, long play. But so that's always been my generic term of choice. But where was your release show again?
It's at Please and Thank You,
Yeah.
on the Frankfurt Avenue location.
Yeah. And that's located 2341 Frankfurt Avenue. What are some of the landmarks around there?
It's right next to El Mundo.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or
Con Huevos?
And Con Huevos. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Good.
Yeah. That's cool. El Mundo. Everybody knows where El Mundo is.
Mhm.
They're on the north side of Frankfurt Avenue. That's cool. So what can we expect when we go to see your show, your CD release show? Obviously, songs off the album.
Well, you'll hear a lot of what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do another cover.
You think? We've practiced the heck out of it. I hope
We're doing another cover.
Doing another cover.
All right. Well, the
Yeah.
cards are there. We're doing it.
Yeah. I'm surprised there's not a band out there called Another Cover. You know, that's a cover band.
Oh yeah.
Because we got Another Color, right? So Another Cover. Cool.
But Wombo, a band we really like, and
Oh, yeah.
and the band Serioglyphs, another band that we really like.
Yeah, Serioglyphs, yeah.
Are gonna be playing as well.
Well, that's great.
Mhm.
That's great. What time does it start?
So the shop closes at 7.
Okay.
So I would say doors at 7,
Cool.
and then music shortly thereafter.
So this is like, one of those really cool after-hour shows.
Yeah, it's
After
it's
hours
gonna be
shows.
we're running the show basically. As soon as the shop closes up.
Yeah. It's like lock the door for 1 second, unlock,
Yeah.
open. Open back up.
Move some stuff around and then
Move some stuff around.
Yeah.
Cool. The main person we're talking to is Cameron. Cameron Cousins on drums, vocals.
hello.
And we're talking with Comforter. Let's talk to... Big surprise. Let's talk to Mike a little bit.
Howdy.
Mike Stewart. Yeah. Yeah. Love your... we were kind of connecting beforehand because we both work in construction and creativity, and he walks in with his caulk-covered jeans. So, yeah. This is a guy who loves his work.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's great. Let's talk about your background in music, though.
All right.
It seems to, the construction field seems to, it feeds on that creativity, for some reason, because I knew a lot of musicians who were in construction.
Well, I got into construction out of necessity, I think.
Yeah.
I've always played music, or, not always, but 7th grade, 6th grade. And at some point, I went to record a record with my old band, and it cost so much money.
Oh,
yeah. So started working when I was, 17, 18 with this fella Dave. I still work with him today. Shout out to Dave. He's definitely not listening.
Yeah.
He doesn't live anywhere near here, so, he probably doesn't pick it up. But, so shout out to Dave. So met him. He was also 18. I was like, man, I really got to record these songs, but I don't have that kind of money. And he was
Yeah.
like, let's build you a studio. And I was like, whoa, what are you talking about,
Yeah.
So he came over, and we built a studio in my garage. It's like a 11 by 9 foot room.
Yeah.
With a control room, so it wasn't like totally weak, it was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just started recording everything on my own, got a bunch of nice equipment, and like after doing that, I was like, well, I like building. You know, I built for myself. So then
Right.
him and I, further down the line, started working together. And it's a really good job for traveling and touring because I can
Yeah.
work harder one week and, you know, leave the next or whatever. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it became a necessity. Like, I needed to build so I could, you
Right.
know, I never want to pay premium studio prices,
Yeah.
you know, when I could build it myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what year was this? I'm curious when you built the studio.
The first studio was built probably 06, 07 at the
Yeah.
latest. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I could be making those. Let's see. It's okay. It was probably built in 09, and
Yeah.
then we redid it 4 years ago and doubled it in size and in height.
How cool is that?
Yeah. Now it's a really good live room. Before it, you know, it was just a dead room and
Right.
everything you had to fake your reverb and stuff, which
Right.
is totally fine. Fake reverb is great, and anybody who, you know, talks
You got
about
to
it
know
not
how
being
to.
great
You got to know how to do it. Yeah.
Right, but you know it's pretty
There's a
sweet
trick
to
to it.
plug
It
it
is.
in and be like, dang, the sound, or like drums sound great in the room now. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's really sweet. Yeah. And yeah, even now, even though comparatively, I mean, in the 70s and 80s, especially mid 70s, the average wage was about $110 to $120 a week, and the best recording studio in Louisville charged $150 an hour. You know, so a whole week's wage is gone in an hour.
Oh yeah.
And then a lot of smaller ones started popping up, and some of them are still around, and they were still $35 to $50 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you could sacrifice your entire week's paycheck and record a couple of hours. You know, so it's been so, you know, tough.
Totally. Well, I
Totally tough.
never charge
So-
more than 15 an hour, no
Yeah.
matter what,
Yeah.
because you know music should be something accessible to everybody. so.
Amen. Amen to that. Yeah. And of course, technology is so good now.
Oh yeah.
With the onset of all these DAWs, and some are very, very affordable. you
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
Some are free downloads, and then if you get a personal license, only like $65. But you know, that's the upside. The downside is you still have to have the ear. You know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't have the ear for it, you know, but you're a talented musician, I always say, get somebody with a good ear, and stick with your specialty, playing and writing, and let the professional make you sound good. You know,
Amen.
it's about teamwork.
Amen.
Yeah, that's cool. We want to hear some more tunes. We got a lot of great comments. Rob says, "Hey, Adam."
Oh, ain't that cute?
Ben, the short song, he loved the short song, Changed the Delay. He said he loved it.
And
And,
you out.
Lane says, so good. So thanks, guys, for your comments, and keep sharing it, too. Feel free to share the video, and be sure to put in your earbuds, because what comes through the audio on the Facebook Live video is coming out right out of the board. So we have Comforter in the studio here on 100.9 FM WCHQ Louisville. I'm Gavin Castor, your host. Let's hear another tune.
I just want to say real quick, the song is, ooh, you hear that reverb? The song is dedicated to Dixie Highway.
I walked down at midnight to a smoke-filled apartment. Saw all my friends on couches or blankets on the carpet. I made my way to the back room, my parents' bedroom. I saw your face, it's safe to say my knees were weak. I hadn't does that too. Feeling lately like please take me Sometimes the city starts to look a little gray. When we go for just a little while, with a couple shot of gas. With every map and every exit sign, I see your face. Share what you together. Takes the beauty into this. We're not lost, we're just ready to roll. Please leave the porch light on so we can find a way
Comforter live in the studio here on 100.9 WCHQ Louisville. You guys got a great sound. You really do.
Thank you.
So this lineup has been together for 2 years, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. How often do you practice?
Once a week at least.
Yeah, every Sunday,
Every Sunday.
for the most part.
Yeah. So you have a set, yeah, that's good to have a set time. And when you rehearse, do you just practice the songs, or do you actually, because I learned that there's a difference between a practice and a rehearsal. Because practice is when you run through a song. Rehearsal is when you actually,
Get
like
down
you're
to the
on
nitty-gritty
stage.
and
Yeah.
Ah.
When you actually
figure out what is going wrong.
Well, you put your playlist together, and as if you are actually on stage.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's your rehearsal. Yeah,
We definitely do both.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oftentimes, we like to figure out how to transition songs into one another.
yeah.
Because we're not so great at talking. So we'll
Yeah.
have like a loop. We'll have a loop, or we'll figure out transitions or some sort of jam
Yeah,
that will go right into the next song.
yeah,
So it's sort of a seamless thing.
yeah.
You know, it's kind of like it's mostly for awkwardness to not be awkward.
Yeah. Well,
We're definitely a band that doesn't like to play the same exact set list every single show.
Sure.
So when we have shows 3 weeks apart, a month apart, we'll try to work a way where it's like, oh, we usually transition from this song in this way. Well, maybe we want to go into this song instead, and then Duffy
Yeah.
will write a new guitar part that goes into it, or
yeah,
try to be as most creative as possible.
yeah. That's great, and especially if you're playing like a festival and you're given 45 minutes, which includes setup and breakdown, and you want to play 5 songs. It looks a whole lot more professional to run through one right after the other. Even if you stop for like 2 seconds or stop for 5 seconds and hit that next song,
Yeah.
it looks a whole lot more professional than getting done with one song and look at each other saying, "Well, what are we gonna play next?"
Yeah, we're gonna play next, guys.
Yeah,
We also have to be creative because Duffy likes to write all of his songs in different tunings and
oh yeah,
different capo positions, and
3 different tunings.
Yeah, 3 different tunings.
so we have to find fun ways for him to sit and retune his guitar.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
only have 2 guitars here, but we're running on one right now. So
Oh, you normally have 2.
yeah, 2
Yeah.
guitars. Yeah, trying to get 3
Humble
guitars
brag.
eventually.
Yeah.
Humble brag.
You hear this guy?
I know I've got 1,000 guitars.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Duffy, you got a ways to go because Joni Mitchell, she used 75 different tunings,
That's ridiculous.
and yeah, I heard an interview with her on. Anyway, afternoon show. I heard an interview with her in 1996, and she said she used as many as 75 tunings. She only remembered 50. Only
Oof.
50. Yeah,
Only.
yeah. How do you do that? You know, I didn't know 6 strings could be tuned that many ways. Oh well.
They probably shouldn't be.
In case you're just tuning in, this is we have about 12 minutes left. You have 2 songs.
We do.
Okay, cool. So let's play the second to the last, and then we'll close out the show. Have you guys close out the show for us.
All right.
And case you're just tuning in, this is Comforter live in the studio here on 100.9 FM WCHQ Louisville. We're also on WCHQFM.com, and be sure to download our free app. WCHQ Louisville. Comforter live in the studio. We got one more tune to play, and just want to say you guys nailed it, man.
Thank you so much.
You kill it. You kill it, and you look really comforter. Really comfortable. Sorry, I had to throw that pun in there, you know?
That's all right.
Yeah.
We like it.
That's right.
We actually get tagged a lot on Facebook. It's quite funny.
A lot of bedding and mattresses.
Yeah.
Like companies will tag us and not knowing, and we're like, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for the free tag.
And yes, you can follow them on Instagram, Comforter KY.
Yes.
At Comforter KY on Instagram, on Twitter, and of course Facebook. The links to your Bandcamp page, as well as your event page and all that, and your Facebook page. They're on underneath the Facebook Live video. So, thanks to all the people looking in on the video, Sandy, Jensen, Webb, John, Ashley, everybody, a lot of amazing. A lot of posts saying amazing, sounding amazing.
Stop it.
So thank you guys for coming in. It's been a great show.
Thank
really
you so
appreciate it. And I want to remind everybody real quick, there is a benefit for myself at Stevie Ray's on August 5th. And if you want to know the details, you can go on my personal Facebook page or go on the event. It's a hippie reunion annual event. And a shout out to Cheryl Jaggers for doing it for me. If you want to know the details again, you can catch my Instagram posts on Instagram at Gavin Castor or on Facebook. Shout out to Colin Trask, our producer this evening,
Thank you,
making us
Colin.
all look amazing. And thanks for Lou Tingle for
Thank you, Lou.
stopping by. One of Louisville's best photographers. We have a lot of best photographers here in Louisville. And thank you so much for stopping by, Lou. And especially thanks to Comforter
You're welcome.
for coming by. Really appreciate it. Bring all your pedals in. It's been a blast, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
For in the studio and WCHQ, I'm Gavin Castor. Peace to you all.
Versus plays on right-hand side, empty space. Torture is all, my life stays the same. Myself to stay.
You're listening to WCHQ-LP, Louisville, Kentucky, 100.9 FM. All local, all community, all the time.
It's